Hey there, Rednecks, Preppies, Redneck Preppies. It's me, the Redneck Preppy. How you doing today? Great. Good. So we're back for yet another round of Bubba Guns, that foray into a world where people take perfectly good firearms and then pretend they're John Moses Browning with a Dremel and some cutting and grinding attachments. Honestly, I don't know whether to pity or hate them. Well, hate them, of course. At any rate, let's go down this rabbit hole one more time. Stick around for the end of the video because we have a special guest star Bubba Gun. Now, first up, a bonus picture. I came across this on the web somewhere recently, and I have to believe it's true. God may hate communists, but even he can't abide the sporterization of a perfectly good Mosin Nagant. Don't anger God, folks. Okay, I'm going to be honest with you, folks. I don't have the faintest idea what this thing started life as. In fact, I'm not even sure there's anything original to this rifle outside of the bolt and barrel. What I am sure of is that the quality of that work means I'd be maintaining a very healthy distance from anyone firing this thing. You know, I honestly don't get why people make butt stocks in this pattern. I can't imagine anything more comfortable than firing a rifle and then having a thin piece of knife-shaped metal impacting my shoulder. All right, here's another one where I am absolutely in the dark about what the hell this thing once was. What I do know is that this Fallout video game aesthetic needs to stop. Few questions. Does the M16 rear sight actually work with that front sight? What is that receiver made out of? Because it looks like some kind of painted plastic. Now, I do love how the maker had to remove the trigger guard just to make that crap underfolder buttstock work. And it's another one where I'd step far away before that trigger was pulled. You know, I don't blame you for not recognizing this one, if you don't, but it's actually Lee Enfield. I was honestly puzzled myself until I saw the cocking piece and the bottom of the magazine. Now, if you look closely, they actually cut the aftermarket Foregrip to make room for the rear sight. Now, I also guess that matching the color scheme across the entire rifle was too much work. Now, I realize that with a little work, you can make a Lee Enfield rifle reasonably accurate, at least as century-old milsurps can get away with. But the sheer amount of money pissed away on this could have gotten the owner a more accurate new rifle, and he wouldn't have destroyed the value of an old War Queen. I'm honestly beginning to think that Lee Enfields are suffering as much, if not more, than when it comes to sporterizing and bubbification. This is one of those, I think it was meant to be a joke builds, but these days you never know what's in someone's head. I admire, by the way, the optimism of having a magnifier for the red dot sight for what shoots a handgun caliber round. Look, I get it. Pistol caliber carbines are pretty cool, and I wish I owned one myself, but this is just one of those bad ideas that you should leave in your brain. The initial lulls you get from it eventually turn into the same kind of regret from sleeping with an ex. Hey, what's an episode without a Mosin Nagant M9130? You didn't really think we'd do an episode ignoring the world's most bubbled rifle, did you? You know, I honestly don't get the logic of putting a modern pistol grip and vertical foregrip on a bolt-action rifle designed in the 1880s, but if you were curious, this is what it looks like. This is so bad, I almost argue that if you're going to do this, at least make the parts out of wood, so that it would at least match aesthetically. But then I realized what I was saying. I'm sorry, God. Well, one crap revolver earlier merits another, so here's a second example of bad ideas that should stay in your head. Now, given how awkward that thing would be with the lengthy barrel and probably fake suppressor, I don't imagine that vertical foregrip actually does anything useful. Then again, I'm not an idiot, so perhaps I'm missing something here. You know, I used to think chuckleheads who slapped anime girl stickers on their rifles and handguns were the worst, but the Axe body spray crowd never fails to set the bar even lower. It's like 3 different pieces of white trash fought over how to decorate the handgun. One wanted dollar bills, yo, to signal that stacking paper was the goal in life. One wanted the scary clown because it accurately represented him, well, at least the clown part. And then the third was the bottom of the totem pole and only got to slap some lizardy scale print on the sides of the pistol. The only real loser, well, besides those three, is the pistol itself. Friends, this may actually represent the first Bubba job where the end result is an improvement over the original. Now, those Calico rifles, and I believe that this is the Calico M100 .22 caliber rifle, are some of the ugliest firearms I've ever seen. Now, I know beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but those rifles are the kind of kid that both parents agree isn't going to be their favorite. This actually isn't that bad. I mean, it's still as ugly as hell, but it's ugly like that slightly above average looking girl with the lazy eye. Here's one that hurts bad. Yes, this is an Eddystone P14 Enfield. The Pattern 14s have a pretty solid reputation, despite the fact that they saw relatively limited use in combat in the First World War. That said, those rifles deserve so much better than what happened to this butchery. Apparently, the owner wanted a hunting rifle, and to lighten up the P14, he cut down the foregrip. That's common enough. But he also drilled holes in the buttstock to lighten it up. I'm seriously not making up that second part. I've seen a lot of Bubba rifles in my life. This may be actually the first time I've seen speed holes drilled into a buttstock. I'm amazed that the barrel looks to be in its original length, but good luck finding replacement wood unless you settle for a repro stock. There could be life for her yet, but it ain't gonna be easy. Now, you might not know this, but I served in the Canadian Armed Forces and carried an FNC-1A1, what most of the rest of the world knows as the FN FAL. Yes, folks, that's what this is, a FAL. Or fail, I guess. Look, unlike most people who romanticize the FAL, I found it to be a heavy battle rifle with a limited magazine capacity and a love for jamming if sand was within 100 kilometers of my position. That said, the right arm of the free world still deserves better than this crap. I never understood why people insist on grafting modern components on a rifle which it wasn't designed for. Along with that stubby M16 style foregrip, good job welding that pick rail on the receiver, jerk off. They even screwed up the carry handle. So here's an LR300, a rifle that I've always considered to be the answer to a question no one was asking. That said, it's a decent rifle, but someone decided that the standard tactical look wasn't enough. They'd supersize that look and then go bullpup on top of that. I know, this isn't a military rifle, but they haven't made these in years, so they have to be worth some money. I think the most offensive thing about this is probably that it was made into a bullpup rifle. I've never mentioned this on this channel before, but I really hate bullpups. About the only one that I could potentially tolerate is the Tavor. Anyway, they took a rifle without a real purpose and made it worse. Hey, congratulations! I know, M1911s are the official handgun of the FUD, but damn you, I love it more than any other. So here we have some jackass who went all out on one with an AR-style buttstock, some kind of goofball custom receiver which moved the trigger back, an extended barrel, and a red dot sight. Sweet Jesus, I swear you can buy a pistol caliber carbine for pretty cheap. Why do this to an M1911? Now, I get the feeling that's not some new production handgun either. That slide looks like it's seen days. I think the CMP needs to raise its prices if that's a mil-cert model to prevent this sort of thing from happening in the future. Believe it or not, this once was a Vepr 308 rifle. Yep, something that you can't import into the United States anymore, at least the ones made in Russia, and probably never will be able to again, got into the hands of a Bubba. And again, someone decided that the horrible trigger pull of a bullpup needed to be grafted onto this rifle, this time with a Kalashnikov action. I'm glad someone had about $2,000 to throw out a rifle with the aim of ruining it. At least, though, they used what looks like a Russian scope on it. Confused? I know, you think it's an M1 Garand, but it has a magazine like an M14. Well, this is the result of some chucklehead who had a Garand, but wanted it to work with a magazine. And to add insult to injury, they decided it needed a pistol grip as well. Now, arguably, the level of work needed for this thing to actually work, assuming it works, is impressive. But if you want a magazine-feeding M1 Garand, just buy an M14. That said, I have a feeling this is a troll and this isn't real. I hope so. M1 Garands deserve better than ending up in the hands of a Bubba. Alright, and here's the special guest star of the episode. So here we have a CSA CZ58 Sporter. Now granted, it's a civilian semi-auto version of a military VZ58, and technically it's not a Bubba because it could be returned to its stock configuration. And it was. How do I know this? Friends, I have an admission to make. I was the monster who butchered this fine rifle. A Zahal buttstock with adjustable cheek rest? Check. Fab defense pistol grip? Yup. Side rail attachment for optics? It's there. Crap scope off Amazon.com? Yes. Zahal Foregrip set? Darn right. Check Special Forces brake? Oui. Check issue bipod for the LMG version of the rifle? I'll gladly pay for it. Yeah, I don't know what the hell came over me years ago. I apparently was trying to turn a service rifle, and a clone of one at that, into a designated marksman's rifle. Or something. I eventually returned to my senses and pulled almost all of that crap off and gave or sold that stuff to whomever didn't know better themselves. I got right with God, folks, but be aware that the Bubba Sporter demon can infect us all. Fortunately, that rifle was returned to her original glory. Alright, that admission was difficult, and this entire episode has made me ill. As always, I'm not going to hope that you enjoyed one of these Bubba episodes. I'm not sure that's right. But if you did, that's fine too. At any rate, I hope you have a pleasant day. May all of your shots ring true, and may they be out of unbubbed firearms. Take care. Bye-bye.